Hello, welcome. I'm Karma Kitaj. I'm your host for A Livelihood, New Careers as We Age. And today I have a new guest for you that I'm very happy to have with me. Her name is Quinin Velez, and she is going to tell her story, which I think you're going to find inspirational. So let's welcome Quinin.
Hello. Hi.
So nice to have you here on A Livelihood.
All right.
But let's start a little back some years in your life. And I know you were born in Puerto Rico. The ninth of 10 children.
Yes.
Right? Yes. And you came here in your adulthood, I think, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And you and I have talked before about how you were married earlier in your life. And then some things happened that were big losses for you.
Yes.
So why don't you talk a little bit about that and what happened because of it?
Well, I came to the Massachusetts state in 1968, and I married my husband. And I was thinking, and I always thought that I would like to have my first baby on my 30th, and then a second one by 32, so I could just stay home with them. And it did happen that way, but I lost my first baby when I was 5 months pregnant. It was a stillborn. And then I tried for my second, and it was premature, 7 months, but the doctors tried to do a cervical circlage to hold the baby until the complete term, and it didn't work, so even my life was at risk at that moment. The baby died 2 days later, and I was in real bad condition, and as a consequence of that, my husband also left me.
So you said you were in your 30s then?
Yes,
yeah.
I was in my 30s, and after that, I was the coordinator of an after-school daycare for the Cardinal Christian Center at the Cathedral Church, and
in the South End.
In the South End, yes, and I had a nervous breakdown. When I had the nervous breakdown, I wasn't able to work, and it was something new in my life.
Can you say a little more about what you mean when
yes,
you say?
I was having panic attacks, but also confusion, no trust of anyone.
Very distrustful.
Yeah, this very distrustful. Probably all the little details, I lost my baby, so the doctors, my husband, because I lost him also. My marriage, that was something very important in my life. And other illnesses, my friends. At that moment, I found myself like within limits that I was not able even to look within myself. But then the medication was still affecting areas that I needed to have open to concentrate and be able to take control over my life again.
So are you saying that the medication was making it difficult for you to concentrate?
Yes. It did help. It holds the thoughts.
So you weren't having those crazy thoughts.
But I wasn't even able to walk normally. I walked like a zombie. And
so
was
that went on for many years, you're saying?
Oh, yes. That went on for many years. And then I went to Ponce, where I was born. That's where the Department of Education sent me. And they gave me the opportunity to teach in a middle school where I studied. I was entering new areas, facing new people, new situations. And one of the situations that really got me a little upset, and I was afraid that I might get back into the deep depression, was that I went to apply for housing, And my counselor, a psychologist, said to me when I took the application to her to sign it that she was my psychologist. She said, "You won't find an apartment here in Puerto Rico." I said, "What? Why?" Because they do not give apartment to mental ill people.
So we should talk about your starting to do some volunteer work, because you said you've been doing that now for a number of years.
Yes,
right?
While sick there or disabled, I was still disabled.
So you got on disability.
Yeah, I went on disability at that time. And the Central Boston Elder Services provided me a person that will, like a counselor,
counselor.
Yes, a case manager that will visit me like every 6 months and will check if I needed any extra help. And that person comes to me and says, "Quinin, would you like to find a volunteer work where you can just get out of the house?" Because I always said I like to go out, but with a purpose. And that's how I became a volunteer at Central Boston Elder Services first, but then a friend of mine at the church that I started visiting, later on she was the coordinator of Friendship Works, named La Cadena de la Amistad in Spanish. And she said, "Quinin, do you know that you are the person that I need to work with me as a volunteer?"
You also talked to me before about how you believe strongly in the empowerment of women.
Oh, definitely. And that's what we do. Not only the empowering of women, but also the empowering of anyone that we're dealing with in our program. We deal with disabled people, disabled adults, and elders.
Yeah. So this is at Friendship Works.
At Friendship Works, yes.
We have some photographs that were provided for us that we'll put on the screen here too.
And that's me.
And
we are having a special program at the nursing home, I believe at Sherrill House, and we were singing, and you see the elders playing the guitars and just maracas and participating, you know.
Right, yeah. Okay.
And that is Strong for Life.
Strong for Life. So there's been a lot of research in the past few years about how important it is for older people to get physical exercise. So
yes.
This is a program that Friendship Works
and we use
created
to empower our people, especially our elders, to keep control of themselves. Because if through the Strong for Life you exercise, you feel better. And that makes you concentrate on your goals, because you always need to have goals.
Yeah, yeah. So I think you know so well because of your own experience, right? Of how important it is to, as you say, keep fighting and be independent and be strong. And I was fascinated with some of the ways that you told me that you really recovered from your mental illness.
Yes.
Because you did use some,
heavy medication.
Well, you used this heavy medication for many years.
Yes.
But you also built in, as you say, breathing exercises and yoga.
Oh, yes.
And meditation.
Yes.
And that was really, I think, important for your recovery. But you told me the story about how you did get off that heavy-duty medication. And I've been a therapist for 30 years or something, and so I know something about that kind of medication. And I think it's really remarkable that, first of all, that you decided, you made the choice that you wanted to get off this, because I guess you didn't want to be controlled by some foreign substance.
But I wanted to try.
Well, we could keep talking here, but we have to stop.
Yes.
So thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.